All right, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the MP7, give you guys the best class setup as well as breaking down all the attachments and basically telling you guys what attachments stack best together to make you guys be able to build the best class setup for the MP7. This gun does have the fastest fire rate out of all the guns in the game, which is what makes it amazing for Warzone, helps give it a good time to kill. And my favorite thing about this gun is the overall accuracy is very good. The idle sway is predictable, the recoil is predictable, and it's very easy to hit your shots at mid to long range, which is what I find the most enjoyable about this gun is the overall accuracy. As always, you guys should know now by all the videos, there's actually a couple of hidden stats that aren't listed on these attachment cards. I'm going to tell you guys right now. So with that recon barrel, you're going to get about 35% more range, which is very, very good. Obviously, the MP7s and SMG, you need the most range possible, especially in Warzone, to help bring up that damage range as well as that time to kill over distances. You also get a slightly more stable recoil along with a less recoil vertically, so it definitely is an excellent attachment to give you more range and recoil. Hip fire is a little bit worse, which the MP7 has the best hip fire with all the SMGs. As far as your aim down sight time, your straight speed, and your movement speed, for a normal long barrel, you usually get a little bit more of a negative. This barrel doesn't have that big of a negative in those three categories, which I think is probably the best thing about it. Your movement speed is only about 2.5% slower. Straight speed about 7% slower. Your aim down sight time goes down by about 15%, which is not that bad for a long barrel. So definitely an attachment I 100% recommend in Warzone. This is probably the best attachment to use on the MP7. As far as that striker barrel, you get about 20% more range with a slightly slower aim down sight time, about 10% slower. It has very minimal effects on all the other stats as far as the hip fire and all your movement stats. Definitely don't recommend this barrel at all. As far as the SWAT barrel, this does actually have some hidden stats. You do get about 20% less range. You also get a 10% faster aim down sight time, which is very minimal, kind of hard to notice. But you also get a 20% faster sprint out, which is also not listed in the card. And you actually do get a slightly faster movement speed, which is definitely two really good bonuses to put on that MP7. Sprint out and the movement speed are two of the best things about this gun, so definitely an excellent attachment. But as far as in Warzone, I'm not really going to recommend it. So as far as talking about the grips, you have the Merc, the Ranger, the Commando, the Compensator, and then we have the rubberized. So with the recoil pattern mainly being only vertical, what I found is the Commando does give the best overall recoil. I'll showcase all of the recoil patterns on the screen now you guys can see. The Commando has very little side-to-side variance, which the MP7 has probably some of the worst side-to-side variance that I've seen on a gun. And like I said, the Commando basically gives you a perfectly straight and vertical-only recoil pattern, which I 100% recommend. It gives you a slightly improved idle sway, which you really won't notice unless stacked with another attachment that improves your idle sway. You only get a worse movement speed, which the MP7 has the best movement speed, so I definitely think this is probably the #1 attachment to use out of the grips. As far as the Merc, the reason I prefer it over the Ranger is because, like I said, the MP7 has an excellent hip fire. The Merc is going to improve the hip fire in exchange to get a slightly faster straight speed than the Ranger, and it does give a pretty good recoil pattern. It does help the MP7 where it's best at, so it's definitely, like I said, very similar to Commando. Is the MP7's best in those categories. It's kind of retaining to keep the MP7 where it's really good, so I definitely recommend this as #2. As far as the Ranger, you get obviously a slightly reduced recoil with a slower straight speed than the Merc, so it's definitely something I'm not really going to recommend. The two grips, the Merc and the Commando, are definitely better. The Ranger is pretty good though. So as far as the last two, the Compensator does give you the least amount of vertical kick, but obviously in Warzone, not being able to use the silencer is definitely a big negative. I definitely would only really recommend this used in multiplayer. And as far as the rubberized, I did try to stack this with the Merc and the Ranger as well as the Commando. I did find it does give a bit of a stabilization, which is really weird for the Merc, which you guys can see on the screen, and it's pretty decent for the Ranger. Did have no effect for the Commando, so I definitely would recommend it if you are stacking it with Merc to try and get the best accuracy possible. So we're talking about the unique attachments such as the no stock attachment first. You do get a 4% faster movement speed, which, like I said, keeps the MP7 really good where it's the best at. You also get a 20% faster sprint out time, which is not listed. You also get a 15% faster aim down sight time, which is very good. You also get a slightly improved fire spread as well, which once again is not listed. So faster sprint out and improved hip fire, two things where the MP7 is very good is going to make it better. So this is probably the #2 best attachment I recommend besides the recon barrel. It's definitely excellent. As far as the recoil pattern, it does definitely give you a significantly worse recoil pattern on your first few shots. You 100% will definitely notice it. So I 100% recommend stacking it with the Commando foregrip and the Recon barrel to give you the best recoil pattern possible. They kind of counter each other out to give you all positives and very few negatives. It also does stack very well with that Merc, which you guys can see on the screen, to give you a very improved hip fire, which I also 100% recommend. So the next attachment I'm going to talk about is the tack laser. Obviously, you guys know this attachment I almost always recommend on every single gun. You get a slightly improved aim down sight time, about 10% for a little bit better idle sway, which the idle sway is already pretty good on this gun. Definitely does help with the aim down sight time a little bit, but it's not something I'm really going to recommend. And then the CQC stock, about 10% faster aim down sight time for a worse idle sway, which is kind of hard to notice, but I definitely don't recommend this attachment as well. You're probably better off using the no stock or the tack laser, which are going to get more positives than this will. And then as far as my favorite attachment, is definitely something I have not recommended before in a video. The strafe speed of the MP7 is actually the fastest out of every single gun in the game. The TAC Ultralight, which gives you a faster walking speed, is definitely something I 100% noticed had a bigger effect on the MP7 than the other gun. Probably because it's making the MP7 best. It's already the best at. I definitely noticed that it made my movement speed a little bit faster. I was able to win a lot more gunfights because I was moving a little bit faster when I was strafing, which kind of helped me win a lot more of my one-on-one gunfights and actually able to hit my shots a lot better. So I 100% recommend it. It does have an effect that makes your idle sway a little bit worse, which basically makes it move a little bit faster. But like I said, the MP7 has one of the best idle sways. And the next attachment to improve that idle sway is the TAC Stalker. Stock, it actually does improve your idle sway. I 100% recommend it. Where I found it best to be stacked with was with that Recon and the Commando. So you get a improved idle sway, improved stabilization, and improved recoil. So all three of those stack best together to give you all three of the things that affects your overall recoil. Is definitely going to give you the best accuracy possible. And the last attachment to talk about is the stipple grip. You get about a 20% faster sprint out. It's pretty good. You also get a 10% faster aim down sight time in exchange to get a worse idle sway. The only way I found this really usable if I was stacking it with an attachment like the no stock or the tack laser, which those two attachments are going to stack together to give you the best sprint out possible. So if you are using the no stock or if you're using the stipple grip, they must go together to give you the fastest sprint out possible. So as far as about the last two attachments, which are pretty unique and how they affect the gun, which is the 50 and the 60 round mag. The 60 round mag does give you 4% slower movement speed, while the 50 round mag gives you about 2% slower movement speed. So the one thing you will notice on all my MP7 class setups is I never recommend an extended mag because the MP7 is best in the movement speed category. So by putting that 60 round mag on there, you're automatically going to take your gun from an SMG movement speed to immediately an average AR movement speed, which is 100% going to have a big effect on it. As far as with that 60 round mag, I was just playing a game and I did switch from the 50 to 60 a couple times after I died, and I 100% did notice the difference, which is, you know, kind of hard to really detect. But with my class that I was using, when I put the 60 round mag on, I definitely felt like I moved a lot slower. Like after I died, it came back and ate and gained a lot of weight. It's definitely something you will notice with the fact that both of them give you a usually more than average slower movement speed. I really kind of don't really recommend them. If there's anything you should be using, it's the 50 round mag. Obviously a gun that has the fastest fire rate, you want the most ammo possible, but that 60 round mag is a big negative as far as the overall movement speed. So as far as talking about my favorite class setup, we're going to be talking about what I recommend the most, which like I said is going for the best accuracy, which we're going to take in that Recon barrel with the Commando foregrip, with the TAC Stalker, which is going to give you all three improvements in your accuracy, stacking with the monolith suppressor and the 50 round mag to get a little bit more ammo. This is definitely going to give you a great improvement to your overall accuracy. You will definitely notice yourself hitting a lot more shots. As far as the other class setup, we're going to talk about the mobility class of if you're rushing, trying to get the fastest, most amount of kills in Warzone, using the Recon barrel. This time we're switching up using the no stock attachment with the TAC laser. So we're going to be using the monolith suppressor, the Recon barrel, the no stock, the Commando foregrip, and the TAC laser. So it's going to give you a greatly improved aim down sight time, which is going to help you win a lot more one-on-one gunfights. You also get a slightly improved sprint out with that no stock, and obviously improved hip fire, which is definitely going to make you able to win a lot more close range gunfights. So it's definitely probably for me the best mobility class setup. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, you guys want to leave a like as well as subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below what you guys think about the MP7, and also comment down below if there's any guns you guys want me to do another in-depth class setup on. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Make sure you guys use code Trapgod on all of your scuff and GFUEL purchases. and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.